Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 26th. It's 9:30 in these space-time coordinates. Welcome to Training Wheels. This is a free program courtesy of An Open Door and Cindy Krupp, who is the creator of An Open Door. If you are listening to this, know you're welcome. Whether you're listening later or you're here right now. These are the lessons of A Course in Miracles, according to a book that I wrote, it took the lessons and incorporated some scientific reasoning, and it took some of the more Christian language out of the text or out of the language. So we're on lesson 11 right now, which is actually a sort of it's a transition lesson. We'll get into that in just a minute. But what I'd like to suggest that we do right now is you can turn your screen off and just listen to my voice. We're going to take a 10-minute meditation. And this meditation is based on the lesson of A Course in Miracles, giving all to all. It's to have all, give all to all. But we're not really going to go into that. I just wanted to tell you that that's what I call this meditation. It's giving all to all. So close your eyes and just relax into the body. The body is where we are right now. Just be present with whatever comes up in the body. You don't have to do anything right now. This is 10 minutes of time we're just going to give to ourselves. So relax your shoulders. And relax your belly. Let your eyes soften and your jaw soften, noticing any tension there and just letting it go. And now just gently place your awareness on the breath. Don't do anything with the breath, just notice it. And moving awareness into the out-breath. Notice how that subtly changes the breathing when we put awareness on the out-breath. And now, can you find the end of the out-breath and become aware of how there's a slight pause before the in-breath comes? Just notice. There's no need for you to do anything here. Just explore. And see if you notice the space that's there at the end of the out breath. You might notice that at the end of the out breath, there's a big space. Or you might notice it's very small. It often happens that the more attention we place on the out breath, the bigger this space becomes. We may also notice that if we give a gentle push to the out breath, we notice an edge right at the end of the out breath. And we can sort of fall off the edge of that out breath and hang in space. Just hanging in that space at the end of the out breath before breathing in again. Now we go a little deeper and we notice any thoughts, feelings, sensations. And in whatever way feels right to you in the moment, just take what arises and breathe it out into that space and drop it off. This is called giving all to all. Giving all thoughts, feelings to the empty space which holds everything. It's possible that it takes several out breaths to really let go of whatever energy arises. That's just fine. The spaciousness of the all accepts everything. It judges nothing. We can bring anything to it and drop it off there. All it asks is your willingness to let it go. A Course in Miracles tells us, be willing to give all you have held outside the truth to that which knows the truth and in which all is brought to truth. Be willing to give all you have held outside the truth to that which knows the truth, which accepts the truth, and in which all is brought to truth. And just relax now. We'll start the lesson. Just be as you are. Nothing I see means anything. I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm upset because I see something that is not there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. I see nothing as it is now. My thoughts do not mean anything. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. You see nothing as it is now because you associate everything you see with the past. If everything you see is associated with the past, how can you see it as it is now? And if you don't see it as it is now, does it really mean anything? This lesson challenges our thinking again. The idea that meaningless thoughts create a meaningless world rests on four fundamentals, two of which are very clear here. Mind is the builder, as Edgar Cayce said, and thoughts are things, energetic forms that have consequences. We live in a world of thought, and it is only as meaningful as our thoughts are. Everything begins and ends in the mind. How is this so? How is this so? Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a room with several other people. You have entered the room thinking about what you'll make for dinner, the place where you'll do your shopping, and whether it will have all the ingredients you need. The person on your right has entered the room thinking about getting her car repaired. It's been making strange noises, and she wonders whether she remembered to get her regular oil change last month. The person on your left is thinking about his wife. He has to pick her up at the airport in 2 hours. Will he have enough time? Will she be happy to see him? He's remembering to tell himself to check the flight schedule before he leaves to make sure the plane is on time. What is really going on here? First of all, no one is living in the moment. Each person is either reviewing her past or anticipating the future. And second, each person's experience is interior. They are their own small mind, separated, having a completely different experience of being in the same room. In a very real sense, each person has created their own universe and is living separately within it. Oh, but my world has meaning, you might say. I care about my friends, my family, my coworkers. To hear that we live in a meaningless world, to hear that out loud, even though we might think it to ourselves, that sounds threatening. But don't let this lesson cause you any fear or discomfort, or if it does, just notice it. This world is full of meaning, but until you are conscious of your own thoughts, you miss so much of it. This lesson should be practiced for a minute or two, 3 times today. Just take your seat, close your eyes, and let all things go. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and let your gaze be soft. And now look around the room without lingering on anything in particular. And say in your mind, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Be casual about this. Don't work at it. relax, and let yourself feel supported. Just look around and repeat the words. Notice what happens. Don't expect anything. Just notice. As with the past exercises, this is all about training the mind to be present in the moment. Until you are conscious of the thoughts you think, you cannot be fully present. If perception is projection, then perception arises from inside. This lesson begins a major correction process, which is a reversal, a complete reversal of what the world believes and has taught us is real. The light is inside you. Everything you see comes from the light within. And now we begin to focus on our inner reality and gently disengage from the forms of the outer world. And in later lessons, we'll re-enter the outer world, but in a whole new way. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. How does this lesson feel for you? Take a few nice breaths and then come on back, put your screen on, and let's have a conversation. How was that meditation? Were you able to really go to the end of the out breath and drop everything off? Good. That lesson, that exercise is almost instinctive. Right? And it gives a whole new meaning to have all, give all to all. To have all, give all your thoughts to all your concerns, drop it off in that empty open space. It takes everything. And that empty open space is the closest we can get to what we are in truth. We're just giving everything to ourselves. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. When I first wrote this lesson, I took it from the previous 10 lessons, and really because they were concerned about the past. So I took it that if I'm bringing everything from the past to create the image of what I think I am, of who I think Amy is, then that's meaningless. I'm not seeing anything as it is right now. But it's also my meaningless thoughts of separation are showing me a separate world. That's also true as we go more deeply into this lesson. All thoughts of separation, separate worlds, separate things, everything is outside of me. those show me a meaningless world. Let me ask those of you who have done this lesson many times, how has this lesson changed for you? I know we're all sort of soporific from that meditation. That's okay. That's all right. David.
Well, I've read this lesson many, many times, as have we all, or most of us. But anyway, the lesson hasn't changed. That I've changed. I mean, the receiver has changed, and so. And first of all, I want to talk about the breath. When I was doing the breathing, I was doing like chest breathing. Take it in, lock it up, and then push it out. And then put towards, that, because that's the way I operate. Towards the end, I was belly breathing. Take it in and just relax. And then the breath will just go where it needs to go without me pushing it out. You just let the breath go where it wants to go. And that's a good metaphor for let life do that. I mean, let life just let everything just go where it ought to be. And one of the things I've been thinking about a few days is it's like everything starts at zero and ends up right back where it started, back at zero. And it's like a boomerang. In other words, we throw it out there and it goes where it ever goes. And if we let it, it will return. I mean, whatever that is, thoughts, and where my mind goes, where my mind wanders off into crazy stuff. But if I let it, it'll all come back to where it belongs, where I should be. Because we could return to where we never left, because we'll never go anywhere. But we think we do. But I think it was I'm doing a really bad quotation of Shakespeare. He says, "Neither right nor wrong or seem to be, but only if we think it so." Or that's really bad, but that's what I meant. And just neither good nor bad, or true or false, or in or out. It really doesn't matter. There's only there's only what is. And if we let what is, even though we go off and wander into the darkness or wherever the hell we go, if we just let ourselves be, we'll come back to where we belong. Yep. I'd like to say where we never left, and it'll be peaceful because I'm home again. Thank God. So I'm going to quit talking now.
That's all right. I think it's something like thinking only makes it so. Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Thinking only makes it so.
Shakespeare's so great. Thank you for bringing Shakespeare to us this morning. Richard, what you got for us?
Yeah, like my separate self, my understanding of the lessons are evolving. So they keep changing over time. And this lesson, I've come to view it from my perspective of my thoughts, which do not exist in reality, reflect my beliefs and my concepts and my conditioning as a separate self, which also doesn't exist in reality. And then I project these thoughts onto the world, which also doesn't exist in reality. And then I perceive what I threw out there. So my thoughts were meaningless. The world is meaningless because I projected meaningless thoughts onto the world so I can perceive it as what I thought it should be, when in fact it doesn't exist at all. So, I have, with regard to the dropping things off at the edge of my breath, to have give all to all. My understanding at this point in my evolution is that since I am infinite unconditional love, I give that unconditional infinite love to everyone and everything, moment to moment. And if that is my function, to do that consistently from moment to moment, I never have thoughts in my mind. Now, I cannot do that every moment of my experience. No. So I have those moments of less than peace, let me put it that way, that remind me that I've chosen to be a separate self rather than be the truth of what I am. So that's why I'm on this lesson. Love you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. Oh. So I can remember when I first started doing these lessons, and I took comfort in this lesson because it allowed me the freedom to realize I did think the world was meaningless. You know, and if we think the world is meaningless, wow, what a place to be. But I trusted the lessons, and I knew that they wouldn't leave me with this teaching. And of course they didn't, which is why I just value the lessons so much. So many folks spend their lives never questioning their thoughts, never questioning, just believing their thoughts and thinking that their thoughts are giving them all the meaning. And no wonder we live these lives of quiet desperation. With regard to giving all to all, I will share that when I first began to do this meditation, it was probably, I don't know, probably 15 years ago. I had lots of thoughts of guilt, some thoughts of shame, regret, thoughts of fearful thoughts. And I realized at some point when doing this meditation that I had really kept them tamped down. I did not want them to come into my conscious mind. But this lesson, give all, to have all, give all to all, was such a gentle acceptance of the thoughts that I didn't want to think I thought, the thoughts I didn't want to recognize within myself, to bring them into the light and then hand them off. And I noticed that my breath really shifted during the course of the meditation. I would spend sometimes an hour doing this meditation, emptying myself into the all, just emptying myself. And I'd start from, a face kind of scrunched up, maybe a little tense. And then I noticed I was just smiling. Just so happy to realize I could let all this stuff come up and give it away. There was never any judgment in that empty, open, intimate, infinite space. No judgment. It never ran out of room. I could bring it anything I wanted and just drop it off. And I started to explore, what can I bring up? And as I did that, I began to empty and empty and empty. And then I noticed that as I emptied, I kind of ran out of the negative stuff to drop off. Right? And then I started feeling more full of what Richard talks about, just this infinite love and gratitude for the space. It took me, I would say, at least 5 years to get to that point of doing this meditation over and over again. And that's when I realized the depth of this lesson. To have all the peace, all the joy, all the bliss, all the contentment, give all to all. Absolute permission. Barbara, thank you for being patient with me.
That's okay. I love you. Your voice is so quiet. You can put me to sleep with it. It's so, I mean, that's in a good way. I mean, I wish you could give me the meditation every night so I could fall asleep to it. But about 8 years ago, I used to think that we lived, I said, this is hell on earth. I really do believe it. But now I believe that's just because the projection I was giving on it, because now I think it's heaven on earth. It's all how you see things. And with the meditation, I've always been a chest breather. It's hard for me to be a belly breather, but if I put my mind to it, I can do it. But it's so easier being a chest. But I still could get there where you said, you know, I don't have to force it out or anything, I guess because I'm used to it all already. But I got to the end where, I don't know, it was so elongated that I enjoyed myself. I mean, I was having a celebration in my mind. But I do love that practice. I think I'm gonna be using it a lot more often.
I am grateful that you pointed that out, that breath. You don't force anything. You don't try and do anything. Just if you're going to be chest breathing, chest breathe. As you breathe everything out, that breath just naturally elongates, and you hang out there at the edge of that breath and just let it drop. And in that space of no breath, it's like there are no thoughts there. And then naturally, the next in-breath is deeper. And as we do this, we find the out-breath is longer, and then the in-breath is deeper. And then pretty soon our chest breathing just changes naturally. We give all the breath and everything that we carry in the breath to the all. We place it in that open, empty space. You can imagine there's an altar, whatever you want to see there, but it naturally changes. That's why I said this meditation is instinctive. The body will follow the mind. And the more we give up, the more we relax and are just willing, the deeper we go. It's such a gift we give to ourselves, you know, and such a gift that Source gives us. Like, bring all of your shit. Just bring it to me. But you have to let it come up in yourself first. You know, bring me whatever crap, whatever shame, whatever it is that's buried in there. Look under all the rocks, you know. Let what comes up out of that deep, dark cave. and let the light shine on it and let it get carried. It's almost like you're surfing on that breath until you get to the shore or you get to the edge, just drop off. And you trust that that next breath will come. You know, it will come. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Livy,
Good morning.
good morning.
Really glad to be with y'all today. I actually interrupted brushing my teeth because I wanted to share this. I'm getting ready for work. So much of my life and adult life in particular until 2023 was caregiving and caretaking, and it's been a real opportunity for me to because my body would react without my even knowing what thought was behind it. And so, without the focus being so external, it's giving me an opportunity to recognize whatever the thought is behind the feelings. And it's interesting that the most significant one for me that came up on my job, and then again when I was looking into Medicaid and working with the VA for my dad and that kind of thing, and my body would just react in such a fearful, anxious way. And then I finally realized one day that the thought was, "You're not smart enough to do this." And what's interesting, and what a gift to be able to recognize what the thought is, and also recognize that this is not even my thought. You know, a lot of thoughts that I have originated with someone else, and they very thoughtfully decided to pass those down. And so it's interesting to recognize, wow, this fear isn't even my fear, and it's just the fear. And to be able to let go of stories and conditioned beliefs that don't work anymore. And the breath is so important for me because I have a history of forgetting to breathe, hyperventilating, that kind of thing. And so the breath and watching the breath is very important, and it's such a useful tool. And as far as this lesson, it's just such a gift to know that the thoughts don't mean anything, no matter where they originated from. They're giving me a story that is not true for me anymore, and I know it's not true. And I just really love that, nothing to recognize nothing has any meaning except what I give it. And I can let go of giving it anything and just allow the truth to come through me. And so my practice today is, I'm not going to have an opportunity to stop 3 times, but I keep the thought with me throughout the day as sort of a mantra. And I'm able recently to come more of a place of my focus and my practice is coming from a place of guidance, rather than what I think. Little I, the little stick with the dot, that I. And so I'm really, really grateful for this meeting a lot, that helps continue to show me how to be in the world in this human form, and take the curriculum of being a human, as Ram Dass would say. But
Yes.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Livy. It was Sharon Salzberg who I have to credit for this. She said, "The breath is your own personal portable centering device."
Yes.
You can take it anywhere and you can use it anytime, anywhere. I love that. That was such a gift for her to say that. I don't know where she got it from, but I credit her with it. And you know, Livy, my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. In a sense, this is a form of self-inquiry because it does ask us to begin to look at our thoughts as meaningless. And if our thoughts are meaningless, then what is meaningful? So, A Course in Miracles really gently points us to self-inquiry in so many of its teachings. It just doesn't call it that, you know. And the other thing I want to just say, and I credit, I'm going to forget his name, Angelo DeLullo, for pointing out that a lot of times thoughts come in bundles. So we have one thought, and then it's almost magnetic, like another thought just arises and attaches itself to that and forms a thread. And before we know it, we have this bundle of thoughts that we have completely gotten lost in. And it doesn't even have to be anything personal. It's just a thought. Oh, gosh, it's fall. All the leaves are falling off. Oh, I'm going to get cold. I hate being cold. I'm going to have to wear shoes now. I'm used to going barefoot in the summertime. I really like my feet being free. Gosh, I feel trapped in the body now. I mean, it just... It's funny. David, what do you have to share?
Truth attracts truth.
Yes, it does.
It's just like, it's like, you're right, it's a magnet. So what I was thinking about is when I'm full of myself or my true, when I'm full of my true self, I will not create a vacuum. But if I'm empty, if I'm not at home, I do create a vacuum, and then I suck in all this meaningless stuff from this meaningless world and think it's who I am. And so I just, it's like, oh, if I don't know who I am, the real me, then like I say, the meaningless world will tell, the ego, or, also known as, will tell me who I am. You're this messed up guy, and life is hard, and there's no hope, and da-da. And so then I go, well, gosh, I guess that's who I am. And then I do, why even try? So it's so, when I'm saying using the I there, I meant the big I, not just me, but the big I. And I think I know that's a really bad metaphor, but it makes sense to me.
I think that's a great metaphor. I love that. So when I'm empty, when I'm feeling empty, which means also separated, right? The ego will rush in and fill that space, right? But when I'm full of the whole I, spirit, it's full. It's not stuffed. It's open, full, and empty at the same time. Right? It's space in which more great things can arise. That's beautiful, David. I love that.
Thank you. It's so interesting how my mind works, and it's almost like, it's like, it's like I'm recycling Kurt Vonnegut or somebody. Just basic stuff.
So
thank you, everybody.
Oh, thank you, David. So when I feel empty, or when I'm feeling negative thoughts or fearful thoughts or sensations or whatever it is discomforting, I know that I'm empty, right? And what do I fill myself with? The Holy Spirit, which is just another way of saying my own I am, which is holy and complete.
Yeah, if I don't know that there is an I am, then whatever else shows up, I guess that's who I am then.
Oh, wow. You're just full of pithy statements this morning, David.
It's my third thermos of coffee. I'll credit net caffeine for all these inspiration.
I hope that you will write a poem about that.
I've already thought, I'm already thinking, I'm already planning.
Okay. All right. We'll put it we'll put it on Cindy's blog. Get it in
Okay.
there. All right. Well, we've spent another almost an hour. This was originally going to be a 30-minute gathering. I think Cindy might have something to say. She usually does. Maybe the cat has something to say.
Well, all I was really going to say, hi, Alice. I'm sorry you pretty much missed the meeting. Is that this was a great gift. I've been basking in the fullness of the truth of who I am and intending now to pull the meditation out of the recording and add it to the home screen under this class and then send it out as a gift on Thursday. So that's sort of where I was going. It's a gift for Barbie because your voice takes her places, and then if the rest of the world can benefit too, then so.
You know, Cindy, Kitty Cat is reminding me of something I wanted to share. And I'm sure you have all had this experience, but the other night I was asleep and I had a very, very lucid experience of feeling something land on my shoulder. And I felt it land, and then I felt its little paws on my shoulder. And at first I thought, God, is that a rat? And then I thought, no, it's a cat. It's a cat. And I was 1000% convinced that a cat had landed on my shoulder and was kind of doing its little pawing, its little kneading, and then it jumped onto the bedside table. And I woke up from that and realized I was dreaming. It hit me like a ton of bricks. This is how the world is created. It's exactly the same. I'm in this dream. I literally feel the cat, completely convinced it's there. And that's exactly what this world is. What an amazing, amazing I am we are to have created this world and convinced ourselves of this dream. It's absolutely brilliant. And then to have the gift of knowing that it's our own creation and knowing that we're infinite, love, eternal, and still get to enjoy it. Wow. Wow. Oh, I love us. Thank you for being my spiritual family and allowing this sharing. I just absolutely bask in it. So
Thank you,
thank
Amy.
you.
And we're hanging out here again in just over an hour and a half. So come on back if you'd like.
I'll see you in
Man,
an hour and a half.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Love us. Thank you, Cindy.